What's the matter?
I have a little back problem.
Did you ever try yoga?
Harold, do me a favor, distract me, tell me your version of this mess.
First, I was innocent, okay?
Right.
And then Sonny and Marshall came to me. See, we all played poker together all the time. And they said, Harold, nobody would suspect you of anything. And I said to them, well, I didn't do anything for anybody to suspect me of anything. So they had this scheme of theirs to steal diamonds and get them into the United States. But I didn't know they were stolen until later. I just wanted a good opinion of me.
So far, so good.
So then Sonny and Marshall fixed the poker game so that I won $2,340, and I sent it home. But I didn't know the game was fixed. They told me about it later because they thought that $2,340 was a secret way to pay me. It was very complicated.
You better believe it.
You're up to me so far?
So far, yeah.
Hi, guys and girls. This is Kathleen Bradley, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Roberts, and welcome you back to TV Confidential Radio Talk Show about television. Very happy to welcome Mr. Les Lannom. Les has been a working actor in movies and television for more than 5 decades, having worked alongside such legends as Lee Marvin, Gene Hackman, Peter Falk, Pat Hingle, Robert Mitchum, James Garner, Sissy Spacek, Keith Carradine, David Carradine, and of course, David Janssen. Harry O fans know Les Lannom best as Lester Hodges, the amateur criminologist who kept showing up in Harry's life, sometimes in inopportune moments. Les Lannom not only wrote the foreword for the Harry O Companion by Steve Aldous and Gary Gillis, he contributed many behind-the-scenes stories and insight that adds to the richness of that book. Les is also an accomplished musician, having played many instruments at one point or another, including the trumpet, the accordion, and now the bagpipes. He is also a marvelous raconteur, and we are happy that he is spending part of his day with us today. We'll dive into Wes's movie and TV career in just a bit, but first we began our conversation with Les Lannom by talking about the appeal of pipe smoking.
Going to load up a pipe, and I got the new tobacco in from Pipes and Tobaccos in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
And I got some. It's called The Best of the Rest, and it's it's clippings after they load up their blends on and ship it out. Then they take the stuff that's left over, and they have 2 different ones, I think now. They've got aromatic blends, which I understand are inconsistent enough to be a surprise when you get them. And they've got English blends, which are pretty much across the board the same. So I ordered the aromatic. I got a pound of that stuff. And I mix it in with some of my other, I think it's made by Sutliff, proper English. No, Peter Stokovi, proper English. But we just have to find out real quick.
I am not a
pipe smoker.
I'm not a smoker of any kind, although I've always thought there is something cool and sophisticated about pipe smokers, both in real life and whenever I see a character on film or the stage smoking a pipe. It's just it elevates, for whatever reason, it elevates them above the rest.
Eventually, might do it. That'd be great.
What first led you to pipe smoking?
I always liked the smell of a pipe, and I had started in college. I had begun smoking cigars because I never smoked anything. My dad broke me of that one, so that's another story. My dad was somewhat of an amateur psychologist. He was very good at it. So after my experience with my dad and a long dissertation as to why I should not endeavor in either smoking cigarettes or gambling, I never, as many times as I went through Las Vegas, I was never tempted to gamble. Never. And I finally put some money, a bit of money in a couple of slot machines at the behest of my friend Zeph Hemel out in Laughlin, Nevada. And I walked away from a winning machine, and he said he'd never seen anybody do that. My God, he said, well, let's try that one, and I tried another one, and it paid off, and then it was still paying off, and I said, well, that's enough. Let's go get something to eat. He said, but it's paying off. You're on a streak. And I said, well, he said, well, look, that woman just took your seat. She's got your machine. I said, well, let's take a look and see what happens. So we watched this gal now it was, I don't know, was it a nickel machine or something like that, or quarter? It was nothing, minuscule. We watched her feed about $20 into this thing, and it never paid off. And I looked at him, and he said, well, your hunch was right. I said, yeah, let's go get something to eat. Oh, my. But anyway, I played Oscar in The Odd Couple. I got cast as in the part of...
Yeah, you'd mentioned that.
Yeah, and I never had smoked. And Oscar being an inveterate smoker...
Yeah.
And being 42, and I was 22, I think. You know, there's a certain knack, I guess, or a practiced sort of form to smoking a cigar.
Yeah, I'm going to correct myself. I have smoked cigars. In fact, I don't do it regularly, but I was vacationing with a friend about 8 weeks ago, and yeah, and so I it was the first time in about at least 10 years that I can remember smoking a cigar, and it took me a few minutes to get back into the the rhythm of drawing and so forth, but it was but it was I forgot how relaxing it can be.
It absolutely can be. It can be. Now, I had, when I went out to L.A., I think I was 27 years old, and I had been a cigar smoker since learning how to hold the cigar, not look like a neophyte, or a kid pretending to be a man, you know, which I noticed that almost all the young men, including my cousin, who got into college, they would start smoking a pipe. Some of them went from a pipe to cigarettes, and that I never quite understood. Especially my cousin. My cousin did a science project in which he rubbed this tar on the backs of a bunch of little white mice, the poor little bastards. They all developed these terrible lesions on their backs and died. He didn't know that it was cancer or not, but it, was ugly. And so he was the last person I thought would ever start smoking cigarettes. But he started smoking a pipe to look cool. And I smoked cigars and had been smoking cigars since I was 22. I was 27 when I did Kung Fu, and I think the following summer I may have done Framed with Joe Don Baker. And the director, Phil Carlson, came to me and he said, Les, he said, I think that Gary would smoke. What do you think? I said, you mean cigars? He said, oh, no, cigarettes. I said, oh, well, okay. So it was decided that my character was a cigarette smoker, and I knowing that handling a cigarette, holding it, and you're between your lips, and you don't bite down on it, or you don't hold it in your teeth. Yeah. You don't hold it. If you don't hold a cigar in your teeth, it's going to fall out in your lap. If you're sitting down, or just onto the ground. If you're not, you got to keep a grip on a cigar, and they're more substantial to hold in your hands. You may hold them between your fingers, but generally that's a Lonsdale, one of those long, slender cigars that you do that with. So went to the prop truck and said, "Have you guys got any cigarettes that I could check out?" I guess. Oh yeah. So I checked out a package of Lucky Strikes because my dad always smoked either Lucky Strikes or Camels.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't smoke unfiltered cigarette. And I said, okay. So I got them, and I puffed on them the way you would a cigar. But I tried to make it look like I was inhaling, which I wasn't.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton and I have something in common. He's from Arkansas. I'm from Southern Illinois. But anyway, yeah. I puffed on and was trying to get the knack of holding it between my in my fingers and maybe between my fingers and my thumb, and very lightly holding this because you crush it instead of it's not substantial the way a cigar is. So I puffed about 4 of those things and I got so sick, really. Oh God, I got so sick. The only time I'd ever experienced that smoking a cigar was up in Canada on Prime Cut with Lee Marvin and Gene Hackman, and I went to the prop truck, and they, in Canada you have access to Cuban cigars. They had no embargo. This was 1971. I said, "Okay, have you got a cigar I could have?" And they said, "Oh yeah, sure." They gave me this Churchill made by Tueros cigar factory and Cuban, and I took it home. I took it back to my home. I had my home away from home. I took it up to my room and I sat down and opened a book. I'd had dinner and I sat down and I lit the cigar. I puffed on it till it was down about 3/8 of an inch, maybe. Not quite a half inch, I don't think. I got so ill feeling. It was an evil sensation.
Yeah.
And I looked at the cigar in my hand. I said, "This is not why I smoke a cigar. I don't smoke to feel like this." The nicotine hit was incredible.
Yeah.
Well, I took the cigar that was just barely had been lit and smoked it all, and I threw it away. Said, no, it's not. That is not what I like about a good cigar. Well, I had not experienced that sensation until I did the cigarettes down there, and I said, "Boy, oh boy, that's not it." And I have since read that men who take up smoking a pipe as an adjunct or as a substitute for smoking cigarettes, they are usually very disappointed because they don't get the nicotine hit from pipe tobacco that they do from cigarette or from cigars. Either way, it just doesn't. You would think, oh well, cigars are so much larger. They got all kinds of nicotine and stuff. Yeah, they do. I'm sure they are large, but conversely, you're not taking them down into your lungs. So there's a direct transfer between your very sensitive tissue in your lungs and the cigarette smoke or the cigar. Now they say don't inhale a cigar, and I had the misfortune of having a line come up while I had a mouthful of smoke and I didn't think about it, and this is when I was doing Oscar. I took a breath. Oh, God. Mistake. Felt like somebody had turned loose a propane torch in my lungs. Whoa. Well, I was very careful after that. I didn't make that mistake again. But I didn't. Okay, I could get away with smoking a cigar. But I'd never smoked a pipe because, to me, very often, now I always had this baby face. I don't know how far back you've seen my work.
Well, I've seen. Look, I learned about you first because of Harry O. So and
I look back pretty well. That's pretty good. That's pretty far.
And we'll dive into Harry O. and some of Les's other movie and TV work when we play more of our conversation with Les Lannom in our second hour. In the meantime,
stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
One more item. If you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Ed Robertson thanking you for listening to the TV Confidential podcast. If you like what you hear, please hit the subscribe button so that you won't miss our next episode. We'll take a quick time out, then we'll play part 2 of our conversation with Louise Sorrell when we come back for hour number 2 of TV Confidential. Please stay with us.